BMWs R9T, celebrating 90 years of BMW motorcycles, and this gorgeous version with the full-out option 719, very sneaky performer coming at you. We'll get to the option 719 details in a second, but let's start out with some specs about this bike. First up, 1170cc opposed boxer twin, the original style, so this is the air oil cooled one, no water in this system at all. Then we got 110 horsepower coming out of this with 86 foot-pounds of torque and loaded up with gear, with oils and gasoline. This thing weighs 489 pounds. Now we'll see why that is a little bit special, because just to give you some perspective, this thing is an absolute performer. It looks retro style and it is very comfy upright seating position, but we got 86 foot-pounds of torque available to you at 6,000 RPMs. Now, just to give you a little balancing act, the S1000RR, brand new 2020 from BMW, has 83 foot-pounds of torque available at 11,000 RPMs. Also available at that 11,000 RPMs is 200 horsepower. Now this has 100 horsepower available at 7,000 revs. So, could this beat an S1000 off the line? On paper, I think it does. We all know when that torque is available is at the twist of a wrist, and the revs build quick enough where you might just scoot past it, probably only up to about 50 miles an hour, but you might win off the line at a little bit less money too. Thank you, BMW, for thinking of everything. Now, obviously we can't miss, this is a retro style motorcycle, super sharp, super cool and funky, very original, and it's got that extra option. So now let's talk about this option 719 right now. Option 719 in BMW terms means milled aluminum with laser etching, and it's all the quality you'd expect from a huge manufacturer like BMW. Now, specifically when they're talking about the R9T, the 719 parts, there's about 7 different parts that they add on. So, of course, we have these aluminum cylinder heads, this little aluminum oil thing, to cover up the oil spot. Then we have the belt covers on the transmission up in the front, these beautiful adjustable and laser etched levers. We have the reservoirs, so the clutch reservoir and the brake fluid reservoir, also laser etched and aluminum milled. Then the seat holder back here, so the whole piece that connects under your butt. And then my favorite part are these rear sets. We got rear sets for the passenger and for you while you're riding. Totally foldable, super cool, adjustable from where your foot is, the shifter pedal and the brake pedal, exactly where you want it to be, move it around back and forth. Very fancy, very classy, but it does add about $2,000 worth of accessories right off the bat to the R9T, which isn't a costly motorcycle, but it isn't exactly inexpensive either. Now let's see why this R9T is so popular and BMW is selling tons of them. Let's get into a combination of why this thing is such a performer and my personal riding impressions. What we want to get at is, first up, everything on this bike is analog. The only thing computer-esque is it's got an ABS system on it. Everything else, touch of your hand and touch of your wrist. So first up, cable throttles, so when you open and close the throttle, you can actually hear the throttle bodies opening underneath your hips, right where the engine is. Very rare these days on brand new motorcycles. And we also have a cable clutch, so no auto blipper, no quick shifter, not even a slipper clutch on this. You actually have to match the revs, especially if you're doing performance riding. Now, why would you performance ride a bike like this? Well, they put an incredible suspension. You have a fully adjustable pair of gold forks taken right off an S1000 single R, right here on your bike. You got Brembo 4-piston monoblocks. You have 17-inch wire tires, so you can take up some bumps. This thing, the chassis is super tight and it flicks through corners very easily. Nice wide handlebars, very easy to ride, very easy to take corners quickly in. You have excellent ground clearance, especially with these brand new foot pegs from the 719 series. Lift your feet up a little bit higher, totally adjustable, be totally comfortable while riding at a very quick pace on your R9T. Now, certain things that stand out about this bike is when you have low digital quality, you have very easy home maintenance. And to add things to this bike is cake. BMW knew that they would be adding a ton of options to this, so what they did was made 2 separate wiring harnesses. So the wiring harness for the engine to your hand is completely separate from all the lights and bells and whistles on the rest of this bike. So you can add on LED taillight. Matter of fact, this whole subframe pops off with just a couple of screws. And on this amazing low maintenance shaft drive, there's a couple of bolts where you can put on the license plate bracket right from this machine, where you can take the license plate off and attach it right to the end of the shaft drive. Super cool, BMW. Plus, you're not going to break anything. So screwing around with a couple of the wires isn't going to mean the bike's not going to start anymore, because it's 2 totally separate systems. BMW, brilliant, and lots of options to pick out for this toy. Now, you still have little things like heated grips, and like I said earlier, the ABS system. So you're kind of safe, you're kind of comfortable, but you'll also notice 0 wind protection. You are absolutely in the elements with this. It is a visceral feeling thing, and the engine is totally old school. This is the original, not original, but a very original boxer engine, just air oil cooled, and when you turn it on, the whole bike shakes side to side, watching those opposed cylinders go. Now, once your revs are up a little bit, it really isn't noticeable at the highway, but every time you're at a stoplight, you're gonna rumble. Totally old school, and it sounds awesome. Matter of fact, let's give it a listen. Comes. How about that noise? The thing sounds great, deep, throaty, mean, and absolutely looks the part. Folks, I'm a huge fan of this bike. Now, just so everybody knows, it's not exactly inexpensive, all right? This one as a base model will run you 15,000 American dollars. And you're adding the 719 option to it, which just makes it look incredible. It's going to cost you another 2 G's. So make sure you have your bank account ready, because this thing is going to fill up your garage and empty your bank account. Just how it is. Folks, Matty Motorcycle got this amazing machine today. Thank you to my friends at Gold Coast for supplying me with these bikes. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment about your experiences and customizations on BMW's R9T. Later, kids.